It's March 7th, 2022. I am sitting here watching Channel 12 News. I'm sorry, Channel 2 News at 12. And it shows there was this fire in this one place. Then it shows a bus crash. Then it goes into there's a helicopter flying over the news chopper. There was some threat to one of the colleges. It's called York, York. The York College is flying a United States of America flag. It's flying an Excelsior flag, which I don't know what that represents. And then it's flying a prisoner of war missing in action flag, the POWMIA, with the silhouette of one of the children that I'm related to. And however, in the rock with the matching paper and a scissors, whatever, somewhere. Some X-Men Hollywood references, however they do that, say it without saying it kind of a thing. And so now I'm watching as these students exit this York College, and I'm looking there again. I made a video this morning on a different piece, like if there's a little sister and a big brother and a little brother were fighting elsewhere, and there was a little sister who's also having some issues, doesn't want to be like too intrusive, but there's some stuff going on. I don't know if big brother and little brother remembered about because of so much whatever. So now I'm watching this line of students and teachers exiting this York College inside Queens, which is where I was born, where I was delivered, as was Alexander, for our gene, and the park that were returned to the proper us men at potential big brothers that I don't mind speaking with, and who are respectable men at that, might I add, both the gene and the park. So, being the ones that the properties were sold to, and the deed, transfer, and title went to for my one purpose at whatever and whatever. So it would appear that the people leaving and exiting this college in real time, or at 12 o'clock today, there's a lot of potentials for problems, considering there's just so much of, it looks like United Nations children, but like as if they each had a number that they allowed in, but there was many of them, and they all descended on the same time and were educating themselves in the same facility and building. And at that time, they also were like, yeah, well, do we really have to, I just kind of became obsolete. I again was not afforded the same opportunities. They apparently know what to educate themselves in, to have foundations and residency and all sorts of things, again through whatever program allows this. I don't know. Is that so? I don't understand why there's so much United Nations in this us that has a different responsibility. Then there's something called a UK that's totally single and separate. So now they operate wherever they operate. But then there's like this UE or EU, and we share a water canal. They call it an ocean, whatever, it's Atlantic. So now I'm just curious why there is so much what doesn't look familiar accumulating on this Jesus Fish Island. Because I'm pretty sure some of the kids that I don't even know exist, or I don't even know their nation states, that arrive on my island where I am and my family and my children were born, and I'm really uneducated on who's arriving. That's a problem. That's a national security problem. So I'm just curious how this all started. Like, where and when did they allow outside nation states to just ship their children onto my island where I was born? I've got some priority because it shows it on the paper, and there's a rock committee that protects us in Little Brother, Big Brother agrees on whatever's on the rock is a profile for sure. So now I'm confused how there could be this much visitation, let's say, because I don't know how they got residency allowance. I don't know how they got board certified, like, learning opportunities, fellowships, whatever they've allowed. Why am I not educated on where they came from and what a potential security problem might be for me being stuck on this island with no way out? I'm just curious. And who's in charge of my national security? If all these nation states are just arriving, who protects me and my kids in this colostomy bag of the company lost its children on your island and you're no longer safe here? Who gets addressed for that level of, I have some questions. But anyway, so I'm watching them leaving this building, and as they're exiting, I'm going, yeah, they really are here. Now, and there's like a lot of variety, and I don't know what nation state they arrived from. That's a potential, like, security risk to myself. Who's responsible for educating me? World of hidden circumstances. I'm just curious. So here we are. This is what,
10 this morning on Richmond Terrace near Hamilton
and
Avenue.
again, when it's a bomb threat, when the children are leaving or the young adults are leaving the building, are the police keeping track and polling them of which nation state they arrived from before they called themselves an American? Or they're in North America, but I don't know if they're calling themselves American while they're here. So what nation state are they associated with before they got here? I mean, I'm just curious. Does anybody keep tabs on that level of security information? Because I don't know who's in charge of educating us on who's arriving, and are there threats or concern? I mean, I see shootings every day, but nobody's come to speak to us to say your life's in danger. Here's what Big Brother and Little Brother did, and now we don't know how to tell little sister. I mean, is that what they're going with these days? I mean, doesn't make sense.
Avenue. 12 people suffered minor injuries and had to be taken to area hospitals. One lane is currently closed on Richmond Terrace. An investigation is underway into exactly what happened.
Developing right now, students are being evacuated from York College and surrounding schools after a bomb threat. CBS News' Jim Smith is live over the scene with details. Jim.
Yeah, Mary, we understand this started around 10 o'clock this morning. York College along Guy Brewer Boulevard near Liberty Avenue. An anonymous threat was received at the school. Police have been on the scene investigating. We want to show you some video that was shot just a short time ago.
Oh, wait a minute.
What happened?
Developing right now, students are being evacuated.
We believe the college has been evacuated also.
Live over the scene with details. Jim.
Yeah, Mary, we understand this started around 10 o'clock this morning. York College along Guy Brewer Boulevard near Liberty Avenue. An anonymous threat was received at the school.
Now here, this looks like something that's Excelsior. I've seen Governor Kathy Hochul speak with it in the background. This is the United States of America flag with the stripes and the stars that I've seen in the school that I was whatever in. And then this, but when I was not in Queens, when I was in Long Island. And then this black flag is the silhouette flag that has these letters POW/MIA. And it is a black and white silhouette. The white value takes shape of the profile of the nose. And then for nozzle and whatever.
Police have been on the scene investigating.
I don't know if that's a better shot so you can see the three flags clearly. And then,
I'm going to show you some video that was shot just a short time ago. We believe the college has been.
again, I can't see from this angle very well. I mean, I've been in enough of these situations to know that I'm usually the minority, meaning the number or ratio of my persons being born of European, North American descent is smaller than the rest of the crowd whenever I have to go out of the house and go to some kind of function. I'm in my life frame. When I went to the school in Long Island, it was different. We were the majority, and we were held safe, and whatever, for whenever the Reagan people came to check on us and make sure our breathing rates are, we were able to do sit-ups and whatever. But this over here is a hard to tell from this distance, but based on my eyewitness accounts of having to go out into the public in Queens, but usually I stay in my car because I don't like to pull over and get out. I usually lock my doors and I just observe quietly from inside the vehicle because they're not always civilly obedient. I mean, sometimes they are. Some are great. I'm just there, like in the savannah. You don't want to provoke an attack, so I just sit quietly and watch. But it is definitely a different scene inside Queens and Brooklyn than when you go a little further out in Long Island. And there are breakouts of dermatitis or vitiligo on Long Island if it's a fish. I mean, I don't know fish diseases, but it's whatever. So, I mean, it is, I don't know, again, where they are sent from, but I don't understand why I'm not educated on that. So it makes whatever, like, I mean, I don't understand. That's technically an invasion. If someone's sending nation states into your state or your whatever, and then they're not informing you at all about who they are, how to keep yourself safe, where they came from, something that might arise that they might be angry about, put your life in danger. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot that goes into this. I don't know why there's not better communication. It's signs of a larger problem, and who's controlling the message. There seems to be on the us, or representing the us, does not look like the right messenger. I've reported it. I don't know how she got into that position. I don't know who appointed her, but it's a problem, for sure. Based on where I am on a fish, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken.
Evacuated. Also, a nearby high school that is adjacent to the college has also been evacuated. Now, at this point, no specifics on that threat have been released by police. They are on the scene investigating. We again Students at the college and a nearby high school have been evacuated. There is a large police presence on the scene. Several streets have been closed down in the area, but at this point, police have been able to determine whether there's any validity to that threat. Live in Chopper 2,
But
Jim
again,
Smith, CBS 2.
I don't know if they're doing surveys and pollsters are actually there, the officials, like Pew, I don't know even how to spell it, but just to make sure that the documentation is correct, to keep the whatever and the threats within a accurate analysis. Not that I've spoken to anybody, because I mean, we're innocent civilians here, but again, the communications, I don't even know where to find them. Now here's a closer look, not at the college, university level, but at just the elementary school. Ready? They're easing restrictions, and this is, of course, a symbol of whatever.
Pandemic restrictions, indoor vaccine mandates have been lifted in many public places, and masks are now optional for grade school students.
CBS 2's John Diaz joins us now from the East Village with a reaction to the new rules. John?
Chris and Mary, many local leaders, including Mayor Eric Adams, hoping today proves to be a promising milestone. That we are near the end of this 2-year-long pandemic.
Now, East Village means it's in Manhattan, but this is what their elementary school
That has
looks
caused
like.
just monumental damage.
From a mandate to optional, like all public city schools, starting today, students and staff at PS 184 on the Lower East Side now have the choice to go maskless. But during the rollback in COVID rules, many here choosing to keep them up, at least for now.
I don't really feel comfortable without the mask, I guess, because I'm so used to wearing it.
I told them keep them on because you never know. So you don't know who has it, who doesn't have it, and just to be on the safe side.
While there is still caution, others see
Now here, I can't read, those are letters that they don't teach in the schools where my feet are, and this is within walking distance to where I am. It would take a while to walk, but it's within marathon for sure, running distance. And then I don't really know what this is about. I'm not sure. But then there's a school federations gentleman.
this as a joyous occasion.
Out of a pandemic, you're going to have to go through a phase where you will loosen some of the restrictions, but you must keep up the monitoring at all times.
The faces of children under age 5, though, must still remain covered.
That gentleman speaking, they put a thing at the bottom, I don't know his name, but he has something to do with the United Federation of Teachers. Again, I don't know how these people get to that job qualification.
Let them smile! Parents and allies rallied outside City Hall today against the measure, threatening with a Supreme Court lawsuit. Their words, social skills and speech will be set back for toddlers.
Frankly, having children continue to wear masks defies common sense. New York City remains the only jurisdiction in New York State where a child between the ages of 2 to 4 must wear a mask in school.
But this dad, who was not at the rally, said he's happy to keep the mask.
Now that's interesting. Only one in the state in New York City, because the city's functioning differently than the rest of the state. I'm, again, off of the state land. I'm off of Manhattan city land. I'm Queens, Brooklyn, and Long Island. I'm on the Fish. So, and there's a Nassau and a Suffolk. We're a Fish. So I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works. And then there's one other piece. Okay, so now it goes to Queen Elizabeth. They refer to her as
after the Pennsylvania
British.
Supreme Court overturned his conviction, ruling his due process rights were violated. A spokesperson for the Cosby family issued a statement declaring this a victory and thanking the court.
In Britain, Queen Elizabeth held her first in-person engagement since recovering from COVID. The Queen met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Photographs show Trudeau holding Queen Elizabeth's hand and the two greeting each other with a smile. They met at Windsor Castle, where she's stayed during the pandemic. She contracted COVID last month and suffered mild symptoms.
Okay, so that's interesting with the papers that I got for explaining the unrest in the American colonies, for which they do not go into detail in the local schools with all this nation-state garbage going on and taking on all of these whatever, but not explaining to the people that are born here what any of it means. So there are these papers that have come home through the regular New York school. And so I'm trying to follow along, but it becomes difficult because it doesn't say who's British and who is in charge of this quartering, and I mean, it's 4 horse-drawn quarters, but it gets confusing being on a fish island that's named Queens as the girl with the pearl earring, but who doesn't actually have earrings that are pearls because she's so poor in wallet only, not by virtue and not by valor. So that's what's on the 12 o'clock news on Channel 2 this afternoon. It goes along with some of the other things with that. Oh, and this morning, the House was